Zack, this is the second week, 2 weeks in a row that we've had a drummer on the show.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What's the best? What's your favorite song to play the drums to?
Oh, wow. I haven't had a drum set in many years. I've been thinking about
fake drummer.
But no, I'm a real one. I played for a long time. My favorite drummer growing up that I'd always listen to and try to model is Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews, because I think he's an incredible musician and so creative with his patterns. So there's plenty of Dave Matthews songs that I would love to just jam out to right now and just be in my own little world.
So you've moved you grew up here, right? Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm. You went to Charlottesville, which is probably why you love Dave Matthews, right?
That helps. That helps.
Right? Then you come back here for your first job, is my understanding. You go, or you go to DC to do something.
I got a master's. At Maryland in broadcasting, and went to Channel 3 here, and then went to DC.
Here. You went back to DC, and now you're back. So, is there a main reason why you continue to live here?
Yeah, well, I have my kids have their grandparents 2 miles away. That helps. No, look, this is where I'm from. This is where I want to live. This is where I feel most comfortable. This is my community, and I intend to build a great business. I want to here, and so that's just what I want to do. And there are other places I could start this, but the world's remote today. There's talent everywhere. And so I have no intention of going anywhere. I really want to be in Virginia Beach, and this is my little spot, and also just to be involved in the community here too in various ways, as I have been over the past several years, just because this is my, home turf. I came back initially to work with my parents in our PR firm, where I still do. But as this evolves, I want to build this sort of standalone business and run this day to day. And I want to do it here. I don't have a great reason to leave. I've lived in big cities. I've experienced that. I don't miss it. Whenever I go to DC, I'm like, that was fun, but I don't miss trying to park. Like I was there 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, this sucks. I don't like being in big cities. They're not that fun. And so they're expensive and they're not that fun. So I did it in my 20s, and now I'm 37 and I'm good.
Okay, so part two of that question is, this region has a tendency to infight, has a tendency to have a brand issue, things like that. Like,
you don't say.
Well, honestly, I think it's a scapegoat. The more as I look back at this now, it's a scapegoat to say it. The infighting is irrelevant. The regionalism is irrelevant, and things like that. Like, and there probably needs to be a heck of a lot more context to me just saying that, obviously.
Well, I understand. I get it.
But you, brand ambassador, brand dude, a guy who understands building a brand over the last 10 years, family business, has come back and boomeranged. Like, what are your thoughts on kind of the brand of just the area? I'm not going to, throw a moniker or anything like that, but like, what's missing? What can be done to do a better job of kind of marketing? Insert whatever moniker name you want here.
It follows. Look, there are people who can start their own businesses, and we know the people in this community. Better than anybody who's out there trying to start something from scratch, based here. But to really bring in a lot of talent, it follows the available jobs. So one thing that I'd rather not dwell on the negative, I'd rather look at the positive. And one thing that really excites me over the next 10 years is this wind power cottage industry that's going to blossom here, I think, and along our waterways, that will bring a lot of talented people doing a lot of niche jobs that pay well, and that will help bring talent to us. We don't have the muscle that other markets do, Raleigh, even Richmond, Charlotte, DC. Like, we don't have the corporations here. We only have now one Fortune 500 company, which is really, you think about the long history of our region, to only have Dollar Tree as the only, now with Norfolk Southern gone.
Smithfield not one anymore?
Well, I suppose so. Maybe they're the two. And so, but for a region of this size to have two, over the last 100 years, like, I don't know where the next one's going to come from, but I at least want to try and bring talented people to us through available jobs. And once they're here, maybe there's other startups and things that they get attracted to. I just want to believe that this region can, find another level up over the next several years. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try and grow my business just the same. I'm not really impacted by whether we're this like blossoming, a burgeoning economy or not. But it would be nice to know, and I'm going to do my best to contribute to that. That's all I can say. I can just control what I can control. And I hope that you talk to me in 10 years and I have a real deal thing going on. And it's a company that people just know around here. But that's
and this is where I announce that you are running for mayor, president of the region. As
No thanks. I was actually asked to run for city council in Virginia Beach, and I'm like, no, thank you. I have enough in front of me, and my head is really outside of this market most of the day because the customers are all over the place. So, but I want to be built here and grow here.
Something that I think that you didn't you didn't mention, but you kind of mentioned is companies, right? So you think about San Francisco, there are companies that made you think of those areas, right? There, the Richmonds of the world, the DCs of the world,
Absolutely.
Right? When I think about DC business, I think about AOL,
identity,
right? And so what really, so if we were to get behind something, it would get behind the dollars of the world, the Smithfields of the world, or those companies on the cusp and really start to push those, because those are the companies, people know that in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, it's the Facebook, Twitters of the world. And so it's like, okay, but that because of those companies and they've been pushing those. So you have companies here that you can push, whether it's those two or a plethora of others, push those.
I think honestly, this region needs to be pushing the companies that are going to move here and develop here around wind power and the data centers, because those are we only in this area, we only can really lean on our geographical advantages. That's all we've really got. We have tourism.
So you wouldn't push the aspect of the big three that they always talk about,
Well, but I mean, what are you going to do with that? I mean, it's no, because they're established, they're built, and I don't see a industry building up around Dollar Tree to support new jobs. Like Dollar Tree is Dollar Tree, but I'm looking at where's the growth, what hasn't been achieved yet. To me, it's wind power, it's data centers, and maybe biotech, which there were discussion about it, but it's kind of fallen off. That's where I would want to see, if people, I've had friends leave this market because they want 6-figure salaries and they can't find it except for the one place they worked, and then they got moved out or laid off or this or that, and they have to go to DC or other places because they cannot find those C-level jobs around here. There just aren't that many outside of the health systems. Dollar Tree, Norfolk Southern just left. That's a huge hit. So I would rather focus on what has yet to be. And talk about identity, this region in 10 years should be known as the wind power capital of the East Coast. And if you can become known for that, then that generates its own gravity and people come there and start their own businesses around that. And then it becomes known and there's all these available jobs that pay good salaries in something that we have a geographical advantage around. No one else can take that from us. Richmond could never do it. San Francisco is not going to do it. Tulsa's not going to do it. We can do it. So we have to continue to lean on who we are. And just maximize that, because we're not going to be known for something outside of having water here. Let's just get real about it.
But the water is the thing, right? I mean, it's still something that's focused on the water, and I think you can play with it. Yeah.
That's who this region is, and we have, and I'm glad I'm seeing a lot of energy working towards that, because you got to control it.
Because you're the first person I'm hearing really push that.
Oh no, you're going to hear a lot more about it in the coming years, because Dominion's building 280. Wind turbines off the coast, and there are companies setting up shop to build these turbines domestically. It's a serious business, and if this region's smart, they would own that and become known for it.
What I'm saying is, I haven't heard people articulate it, saying that's the thing that we need to be pushing. They're talking about it, but obviously it's not that thing to own it, be the brand around it, kind of in the way that you're.
Well,
saying.
To your question, talk about identity. Let's something no one else can take from us. Unless Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charleston tries. If we miss the boat on this and someone else steals that identity off the coast, that's the next 50 years. Sorry to say, but that's the next 50 years in this region. So we got to get it. We got to get it now. And I know there are people in this community who are working on that every day, so we don't lose out and continue to kind of, limp along. Sounds like that's Danny's platform. And I'm not in any way trying to start a company for wind power. I got my own thing. I'm just saying, if we want to, we're not going to be known for email etiquette companies, in 10 years. I hope my company's known for that, but the region would not be. But the region could be known for wind power, and that's sort of bigger than all of us.
Well, if they come to town, they're going to need to know how to respond to an email.
They can use my products. We'll do it that way. They can buy a subscription. That's what I want.
Tim, any final thoughts?
No, anything that we didn't touch on that you would like to touch on, Danny?
No, I always appreciate the chance to talk to, always Zack, and Tim, you ask great questions. So thanks for giving me the platform. Always happy to join conversations and do my best to support our local startup community and just be another, hopeful entrant in the startup community. And hopefully all of us break through in our own way, in our own time. This is a hard road, but to me, it's the most meaningful thing I've ever done. I take tremendous pride and joy in the work that I get to do and sort of chart my own course. So I'm going to do my best to keep it going.
Awesome.
Wonderful. And with that, I will remind you guys to vote Rubin 2024. Have a great day. Thanks.